And so that's where we want to get in, focus in on now, where Puerto Rico, as you said, later today, we get into the weather here, probably sooner than later, actually. We'll start getting into that squally weather. And winds are going to be gusting over tropical storm force strength. We'll be watching for heavy rain at times. And this is going to be with us for more than 24 hours here, probably about 36 hours or so that we're dealing with this. You can see Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, things do start to clear out as the storm starts to pull away and actually accelerate to the north at that point. But for now, what's steering it has been this high pressure. Things have been pretty fast so far with the movement. We're going to still see this move at a decent clip, not as fast as it was moving yesterday. But thankfully, it's not just sitting there because, of course, tropical systems are big rain makers. We are going to get some big rain out of this, though, in a very short period of time. And that is going to mean the risk of some flooding and flash flooding. So waiting for that trough to pick it up and pull it to the north, watching for that rainfall to continue to increase in the U.S. Virgin Islands, in the British Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. And this will happen in the next several hours. You'll start to see those squalls come in. Some of the heaviest of rain will be overnight and into tomorrow. All the while, the winds with Ernesto in the core are going to be increasing. So that forecast for a strong tropical storm and a tropical storm that's increasing in strength is what we are dealing with as this moves towards Puerto Rico. Keep that in mind. I always say the trend is important. If it's coming up or coming down, if it's going up in speed here, you sort of have that momentum that it's going to be imparting into the thunderstorms that it's dealing with here and bringing into the area. So let's watch the winds and the wind gust forecast. This is this morning. We've got those strong winds here now, of course, affecting us in the northern islands like Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, Anguilla. You'll have some stronger winds, and we get to U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. And then by the time it does strengthen into a hurricane, we're talking Wednesday, Thursday, and we're talking now it's pulling away from the islands. But Bermuda. So we've got to watch Bermuda because at this point, not only is it a hurricane, but it's strengthening into a major hurricane. Let's again look at that rainfall. I think this is going to be one of the biggest issues. 3 to 5 inches of rain. Maybe not a lot from an island location, but it is a lot when it comes down at once. And so we are concerned about flooding and flash flooding through this area, watching again the next 36 hours or so with some of the worst of the weather coming in starting later today. We also have those summer thunderstorms here across the clusters of storms. Now, Busch Stadium in St. Louis might be fairly empty this week. Obviously, it's empty right now. The Cardinals are playing in Cincinnati, but the seats and streets could get an unwanted washing as heavy rain looks to surround the bases in the central U.S. We do have these overnight clusters of storms in a very summer-like fashion that are going to happen night after night. Obviously, this morning's weather from the overnight storms bringing us some big rain. That's tracking over through parts of Kansas. We're going to see in central and southern Missouri areas getting 3 to 5 inches of rain. Now, this is through Friday morning, and it's not just from what we're dealing with now, but it's actually for what else is to come. We have at least a couple of inches of rain across central and southeastern Missouri. Widespread areas of 1 to 2 inches, pockets of 2 to 3. I won't say pockets. That's pretty widespread as well. 2 to 3 inches of rainfall, and then areas of 3 to 5. Now, what Greg was talking about with that cluster of storms we're dealing with, that rain has been coming down with some pretty intense rate, leading to the risks of flash flooding. That's what we'll worry about when we get to tomorrow night's, or I guess I should say tonight's thunderstorms that track into tomorrow morning. So possible flash flooding again, Kansas City down through Springfield. We got to watch out for that. And, keeping an eye on some of those storms that pop in the afternoon in Colorado. They may not be severe, but they may bring some quick, heavy downpours. Not everyone will get them, but if you do, you have to be ready for that risk of flash flooding. Then tomorrow to Thursday, we do have a front that's tracking in. It's going to bring a more widespread area of rainfall. We could see possible flash flooding then, and that'll be tracking east as we get through the end of the week into the early part of the weekend. Scattered showers and storms popping in Colorado. We'll see that later today. Then overnight, a cluster of storms likely. We'll get a chance for rainfall, some heavy at times. And then again, watching that front tracking east. Now this becomes a focus for a little farther north to the upper Midwest here, Minnesota, Minneapolis. Here comes your rain. It could be heavy at times. Greg?
Well, communities that...
And we've had some really hot conditions this year, leading to that low humidity, which has, of course, led to what we've been dealing with. You look at where we are this year in 2024 with more than 800,000 acres burned in California. About half of this is actually from, more than half, is from the Park Fire, which is our 4th largest fire in state history. Much more than last year, much more than average. It has definitely been a very stressful year for firefighters. There's more than 27,000 firefighters and support personnel that are working on the fires across the whole West. And of course, this Park Fire is a significant one with 429,000 acres burned. It is 39% contained, so that's up slightly from yesterday. There are red flag warnings out there. Firefighters are concerned about some of the dry west winds that are coming in, which may actually make existing fires more active. And of course, always worried about new fires as well. You're watching this zone here from Oregon into Idaho. One of the concerns is that there could be a couple of thunderstorms that fire up without a lot of rain, and that lightning, the dry lightning, could spark new fires as well. Plus the smoke, and looking at some of the smoke emissions out there affecting us in the Boise area, Portland, even if it's not all the way down to what's affecting your breathing, you feel it. You certainly can see it up there, up in the sky, just literally clouding your view. We have smoke emissions across a lot of interior Washington. The Seattle area has been dealing with some smoke from time to time, and the air quality alerts here continue to be in effect, a lot of them until further notice, especially across parts of Oregon. We've got around Burns, Oregon, Bend, Oregon, down through Medford. Spots that are very popular summer vacation areas have been dealing with a rough summer out here with, if it's not the fire threat, it's the wildfire smoke, which has been affecting you as well. So when it comes to smoke impacts, stay indoors if possible. Use N95 or P100 respirators outdoors. If you're driving, making sure that you're setting that AC on recirculate so you're not bringing outside air in, and pay attention to those local advisories. Conditions can change, and you might go from it being okay to be out and about to air quality really dropping quickly, and you really want to make sure you're staying inside with perhaps the air purifier that is continuing to be on. Well, wildfires have burned millions of acres across the U.S. in recent years, and the damage left behind can impact the area in more than one way. Tomorrow, we'll dive into the science behind burn scar flooding. Here's a sneak peek.